screen capture, we're going to look at putting a building in perspective that is both above and below the horizon line. So I'm going to start off by grabbing my rectangle tool. I do want to check that I have black and white in my two swatches, so we'll start with that and color it after. Then I'm going to draw two rectangles. Doesn't matter if they don't have to be the same width if you want one to be a longer building, but what you do want is that they don't overlap, so they're just side by side, and that they're the same height. Is important that they're the same height. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take my two vanishing lines and cross them through the center part of the building. So I'm going to do that with my direct selection tool. That's that white tool here. I'm just going to click off onto a blank part of the artboard to make sure I have nothing selected. I'll roll over top of the end anchor point and click, and that's going to select just that anchor point. You'll see that this one over here is still a hollow or unselected point, and this one's a solid blue, meaning that it is selected. So what I'm going to do is take that point and just cross it over that middle where the two boxes intersect. And then I'll do the same with this right hand one. I'll click on that end point and just cross through the middle. Okay, so now that those are both crossed through the middle, I need to put this building into perspective. So I'm going to click on that corner point and drag it down to the guide. Now what can easily happen is if I can get the vertical line here out of being straight up and down. So if I do it like this and it's no longer straight up and down, then my building is going to look funny. It's not going to look realistic. So what you want to do is while you're dragging it, you're going to hold down Shift on the keyboard, which will force it into a vertical position. So then you can drag it down and get it in alignment. Alternatively, if I get it close but it's not quite in the alignment, I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard and just arrow or nudge it into place, it's called. Okay, so now that top of that building is in perspective. Now what I want to do is, still using my white or direct selection tool, I'm going to select those endpoints, and now this time I'm going to cross them through the bottom of the building where the two boxes join. And I'll just zoom in on it there. So by zooming in, you can use Command plus on the keyboard. Oh, look, these aren't quite the same height. Or you can do Option scroll wheel on your mouse. So I'm just going to use my regular selection tool, because remember, that's the one that changes a whole object, and get those things the same height. Okay, so back to my direct selection tool here, and I'm just going to do the same thing. This time I'm bringing the bottoms up to the horizon line. So anything below that horizon line, so these ones below the horizon line, you always bring the control points up. If it's above the horizon point, you bring the control points down. Okay, so then I'm just going to move this guy into perspective. I'm holding down Shift on the keyboard. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. I select that point and I'm going to drag it up so it's in a line with that point. Now I do suggest that you zoom in and make sure you got it right on. See this one? Not quite. There we go. That's better. Okay, and now this building is in perspective, or this box. Watch the next video for a box that's below the horizon line.